Attention passionate Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Pittsburgh Steelers' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Pittsburgh Steelers fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your friends and Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Let's get to the news. Now, folks, as we all know, the NFL offseason is a time of hope, of anticipation, of roster shuffles, and especially for Steelers fans, a period where expectations are carefully set for what's coming next. The Steelers, a franchise with a storied history, a franchise that's known for resilience, hard-hitting defense, and a relentless pursuit of excellence, are once again in the spotlight. They've just wrapped up their spring minicamp, and believe me, the buzz around Pittsburgh is palpable. The team's coaching staff, led by the legendary Mike Tomlin, has been busy assessing talent, trying to figure out who will make the cut for the 53-man roster. And this year, the competition is fiercer than ever, especially along the defensive line. One of the most intriguing storylines right now, and I mean really intriguing, is the potential departure of a veteran who, just last year, was considered a key piece in the defensive front. That player is none other than 9-year NFL veteran Dean Lowry. Now, for those of you who have been following the Steelers closely, you'll remember that Lowry came to Pittsburgh on a 2-year, $5 million deal last offseason, and many fans were excited about what he could bring. He's a solid, experienced player, someone who's started many games, who's played under pressure, and who's familiar with the kind of physicality required in the AFC North. But here's the twist. According to Steelers Now's beat reporter Alan Saunders, there's a real possibility that Lowry might not make the final roster. And folks, that's huge. Because when you think about a veteran like Lowry, someone with that kind of NFL experience, especially with a guy like Aaron Rodgers during their time together in Green Bay, it's not easy to see him being cut loose. But the Steelers' current roster construction and the emerging depth along the defensive line point to a different story. It's not just about cutting veterans for the sake of youth. It's about making strategic decisions to maximize talent, cap space, and fit within the team's scheme. And right now, it appears that the team's focus is shifting towards giving more opportunities to some of the younger players who have been impressing during off-season drills. One of these young players is Derek Harmon, a first-round pick in this year's draft. Now, for those of you who might not be fully familiar, Harmon is a defensive tackle with a lot of potential. Standing 6'4" and weighing around 313 pounds, he's built to be a force in the middle of the line. The Steelers, in their typical fashion, drafted Harmon with the idea that he would be a day-one starter. And based on the latest reports, that's exactly what's happening. According to Mike DeFabo from The Athletic, the Steelers' defensive line coach Carl Dunbar has been clear in his communication that Harmon is the starting left defensive tackle. That's a pretty significant statement early in the offseason, especially for a rookie who's just getting started. Dunbar's comments make it clear that Harmon isn't being eased into the process. He's expected to be a key contributor right away. And that's not surprising, considering the Steelers' philosophy of developing young talent and integrating them into the core of their defense. But what does this mean for veterans like Lowry? Well, it suggests that the competition along the interior of the defensive line is going to be fierce. The Steelers have also drafted Yahia Black, a promising nose tackle, and they've brought in free agents like Daniel Ekuale, who played 16 games for the Patriots last year. Ekuale's addition signals a desire to bolster the rotational depth and create a more versatile, interchangeable unit up front. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Will Dean Lowry be the big casualty here? And honestly, it's hard to ignore that possibility. Saunders' projections have the Steelers keeping 6 defensive linemen after training camp, with Loudermilk, Black, and Ekuale making the cut as primary backups. But head coach Mike Tomlin always keeps his options open. He's known for his strategic flexibility, for rotating players to keep everyone fresh, and for making tough roster decisions when necessary. The question now is, how many players do the Steelers need along the defensive line? Do they keep 7? Do they lean more towards youth and potential, or do they hold on to veterans for leadership and experience? This battle for roster spots is going to be intense. Veterans like Lowry, Equale, Loudermilk, Logan Lee, and others are all fighting for limited spots. And the truth is, the team's focus on the interior defensive line has been evident all offseason. From signing Equale to drafting Harmon, and even bringing in rookies like Yahia Black, it's clear that the Steelers are investing heavily in this position group for 2025 and beyond. They want to create a rotation that is not only effective but sustainable over the long season. That means some tough choices will be made, and some experienced players might find themselves on the outside looking in. Looking at the bigger picture, this roster shakeup reflects the Steelers' broader strategic approach. They're trying to balance youth and experience, speed and power, all in an effort to maintain their competitive edge in the AFC North, a division that keeps getting tougher each year. The Bengals have their explosive offense, with Joe Burrow leading the charge. The Ravens are always a physical, relentless team with Lamar Jackson's dynamic playmaking. And the Browns, well, they're quietly building a stout defense and a balanced attack. So the Steelers need to be sharp, they need to be adaptable, and they need to be prepared for the kind of roster battles that could define their season. And speaking of the season, let's not forget the importance of the upcoming training camp. This is where the real battles begin, where players like Lowry, Loudermilk, Harmon, and others will be fighting for those last few roster spots. The coaching staff will be watching closely, evaluating performance, effort, and team chemistry. It's a process that can sometimes be unpredictable, but it's also where teams are built. The Steelers, with their rich history of developing talent and their unyielding competitive spirit, are no strangers to making tough decisions and coming out stronger on the other side. Now, for all of us Steelers fans, it's a time of excitement and a little bit of anxiety. We love our veterans, we respect their contributions, but we also understand that the NFL is a league of constant evolution. The team's future depends on making the right choices now, on that roster bubble, to set up a successful campaign. With so many talented young prospects, the future looks bright, but it's also about finding that perfect balance between experience and youth, which is no easy task. And this whole situation with Dean Lowry, Harmon, and the rest of the line shows that the Steelers are serious about building a formidable defense. They recognize that in today's NFL, interior defensive line play can make or break a game. A dominant front can disrupt opposing offenses, generate turnovers, and set the tone for the entire defense. They're investing in that philosophy, and the upcoming weeks of training camp will be critical in shaping their roster. In the end, the story of the Steelers' defensive line this offseason is a microcosm of the season ahead, full of competition, strategic decisions, and a relentless pursuit of excellence. Whether Lowry ends up on the roster or not, what's clear is that the team is actively shaping a unit designed to contend at the highest level. And as fans, we should be excited about the depth, the talent, and the potential that this group holds. The Steelers have always been about resilience and adapting to new challenges, and this season looks to be no different. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Pittsburgh Steelers news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. Looking ahead, the Steelers' roster decisions will not only influence this season, but also set the tone for the team's future. The way they handle this defensive line battle could have ripple effects for years to come, especially as they try to rebuild their defensive identity after years of being a dominant force. The coaching staff, led by Tomlin and his staff, has a proven track record of making tough calls and developing players. They understand that sometimes the veterans who have been around for years are replaced by hungry young players eager to prove themselves. That's the nature of the NFL, and the Steelers are no strangers to that reality. And of course, we can't talk about the Steelers without mentioning their leadership on defense. Cameron Hayward, a true cornerstone, and the rising stars like Keanu Benton. Both will play crucial roles in anchoring this new-look front. The coaching staff will lean on their leadership, their experience, to guide the younger players through the grind of a full NFL season. And if Harmon can live up to the expectations early on, he could be a game-changer for Pittsburgh's defense, offering a youthful spark that could energize the entire team. But let's not forget, roster cuts are always emotional, especially when they involve players who have given so much to the franchise. Lowry's situation is a perfect example. Someone who's been a respected veteran, who's contributed on and off the field, might be on the chopping block simply because of numbers and scheme fit. It's a tough, sometimes harsh reality of NFL roster management. Yet it's also a testament to how the Steelers are building their future, focused, strategic, and determined to stay competitive. So, what can we expect moving forward? Well, training camp is right around the corner, and that's where all these questions will begin to be answered. It's a stage where rookies will have their chance to shine, veterans will fight to hold their spots, and coaches will be making those final tough choices. And if history tells us anything, it's that the Steelers never shy away from making bold moves if it means improving the team. They've gone through this process before, and each time they've come out stronger. This year will be no different. As fans, we should be rooting for all these players, hoping they perform at their best, and trusting that the coaching staff has a plan. Whether Lowry, Loudermilk, Harmon, or another young talent makes the roster, the goal remains the same: building a defense that can carry the team deep into the playoffs and eventually bring home another Lombardi trophy. The AFC North is tough, but the Steelers are always in the mix, and this offseason is shaping up to be a pivotal chapter in their ongoing quest for greatness. And now, Pittsburgh Steelers fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on all these roster battles? Do you think Lowry will find a spot, or do you believe the team is fully committed to the youth movement? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Steelers. Remember, this is a community, and we're all here because of our love for this team. So, stay tuned, because I'll be back soon with more updates, more analysis, and everything you need to stay on top of the latest Steelers news. Thanks for being part of this journey, and as always, let's go Steelers!